Hi, I'm Joel Magalnick, and this is the last in our series about how you can take your classroom online if you've never taught online before. So some of the things that we've discussed in previous courses are creating coursework over video and doing it in a way that you pre-record it and then present it to your students. And we've also talked about how you edit those videos in order to make them look good, but also keep them shorter and succinct, but get all of the materials across that you need to, as well as perhaps integrating some other methods such as podcasts or videos or other readings, so you can have a complete curriculum, but also well-rounded so the students aren't just hearing you talk all the time. And so now in this episode, we're going to bring it all together. So what that means is you've got your edited videos, you have collected all of these other types of media, you have assignments that you need to send to your students, but now you need to bring it into a single point of contact. And in that single point of contact, you need to make sure that all of the materials that you've created are accessible. So your lecture videos, everything that you've done, even assignments or links to assignments, but at the same time, you need to make sure that all of these materials and media are accessible to all of your students. So if there's a student with any sort of special need, that you're able to include some sort of transcriptions or alternate sort of way for them to consume that content. At the same time, if you're thinking about students who might not have access to a home computer and can't get into a place like a library because the libraries are closed to the public, that maybe it would be accessible on their phone. So whatever this point of contact is, it's on something that's known as responsive, meaning that it can adjust from the big screen down to this really small form factor and still be able to allow them to engage with it. So there are a couple of ways on how you can create this access. The first is something called a learning management system. There are some such as Canvas, which is one that I have worked with in the college that I teach at, and it provides a full spectrum of options for me to be able to create a class and have it go fully online. You can have modules where you have very specific lists of all of the things that your students need to be working on. So you can paste in videos, for example. You have readings. You can have discussion groups. You can self-contain them per class, so every single one of those things is in the same spot, and your students know exactly what they need to be doing in whatever order you need to be doing those in. We can walk through some of those that I'll show you momentarily.
Uploading your videos to YouTube is a fairly simple process. So just make sure that you're logged in, and you can tell because it'll have your little icon right there. If you don't have a Google account, you'll need to set one up in order to be able to use YouTube. Let's go to this little camera icon right here, upload video. If you wanted to do this live, you could also do that there. And then all you need to do is go into your desktop or Finder, drag it on. You can only do this one at a time, and it will give you all of the details that you need to start uploading. And then you can put a description in, and then scroll down. You can create a playlist here, and you can create a new one right there. That allows you to put a title in and have the visibility too. You probably want to have this as unlisted. Unlisted means that it's public out there, but it's not findable if people are searching. Private means that your students have to have a link in order to be able to get to it. Click on done, so it's got that. And this is really important right here. Is this video made for kids? Most likely it is. They do this for safety reasons. Depending on the age, you can go yes or no. You can say yes. And then you have the link right there of your video. And then you just push on this little icon right here to copy it, and then you can actually paste it into the lesson that you're creating on your blog or in your learning management system. You can skip this screen if you wish, and then you can publish this. Either one of these is probably what you want to do, or if you are doing a bunch in advance, you can actually schedule it, so you can choose a date. You don't want to do that, and then you click on schedule or publish, and then close. And then once it's done, it'll be in your list of videos. And that's all you need to do.
This is the learning management system that I use for one of the classes that I teach. As you can see, look, this is a module. Every single class is its own specific module. So if I open one of these up, But we can see that we've got discussions where I've had students actually take part in a discussion for the readings. I'm not going to show it to you because I don't want to show off any student name. But basically what I'm doing is I'm asking them to write about the readings. It's a short paragraph or two to get some insights from them as they read and gave their opinions on that. I have a quiz, and most learning management systems should have a quiz of some type or another. So if you take a look at this here, that's just sort of the basic information. And basically I'm doing these quizzes just to make sure that they did the reading. So for Canvas, and I'm sure that other LMSs are pretty similar, it kind of randomizes where the answer goes. So not everybody gets the same quiz, but they get the same right and wrong answers. So here's my correct answer, and then I've got 3 other possible answers that are wrong, and I just create something that's, relatively obvious, not too many trick questions or anything, but just something that makes sure that, again, they read the assignments. Coming back to the home page, these 2 parts right here are sort of the meat of that day's class. And all I've done is I've created a page. You can see over here that this is a page, and I've created multiple videos, and I've got about 45 to 50 minutes worth of content. And if you recall, YouTube doesn't allow more than 15 minutes per video, so I had to break them up. But it's good to break them up anyway, just because that way you can give the students a little bit of space in between each so they're not constantly listening to you talking. I've also thrown in a TED Talk here to add a little bit more dimension. Yeah, and you can see I've got 4 parts in this one. And then at the end, because I integrated slides throughout each video, I have the actual slide deck here that they can take and download. And this little green right thing here, that's the accessibility score. Basically, this system measures a PDF and can tell if the text is good enough for people to be able to work with. And then I have more information here. This is for their final project, and it's basically an instructional page. And then I also list off readings, and for this class, there are going to be a number of different things that you can do. Grading, the discussions are really great because these are what the readings are based on, but I can also assign point values to them, and so therefore the students, once they've read the assignments and they talk about it, I can give them points for those. And then when I create an assignment, I can also put that in my learning management system. And this was a fairly simple assignment that I gave them, but really it was just for the purpose of doing something that's outside of the parameters of the classroom itself. And in this one, this leadership self-assessment is something that I found online that I felt like was a good way to help these students figure out a little bit about themselves, and then write 400 to 500 words. Again, keeping them writing, keeping them being active and getting their brains working. And so all of that is happening in the context of this class. And as each class completes and I go to the next one, then I close up this module and I open up that one. It's just a fairly simple way, even though I had to do a lot of work on the front end to get this set up. It is, once launched and working, a really simple way to get each class up and running so the students have something that they can expect and you can create a consistency from day to day.
If you don't have access to a learning management system, and it's entirely possible that you don't, you still do need that full point of contact. And so probably the easiest way to do that is to find an online website that allows you to blog. There are a number of them out there. The one that we're going to work on today is called Blogger. And the reason I'm using this one is that it's free and it's really easy to set up. All you do is sign up and you're pretty much ready to go. And you can put all this information in, maybe with a little bit more work, but it allows you to go ahead. You don't have to do any sort of design setup. You don't have to get rid of content that was put in there originally to sort of act as placeholder, and you can allow comments. which is really important because everything that I discussed up to this point really has been sort of one way, meaning that you're delivering all that information to the students, and unless you're setting up a discussion modules inside your learning management system, then you're not really getting feedback from the students. But you do need to get feedback from the students, whether that's in the form of questions or peer-to-peer discussion, anything like that. There needs to be some way for you to have that forum for them to be able to interact.
If you don't have access to a learning management system, one of the best ways to get started is just to create your own blog website. And you don't have to get yourself a domain name or do anything like that. You can just go to a site like blogger.com and get yourself going. So pretty simple. First thing you do is go on create your blog. Just go ahead and press the button. And then if you already have a Google account, I'm going to use the Google account that I have here. Enter your password. All that stuff should be pretty self-explanatory. Here you can add a display name. I just put in the display name of the name of the site, but you can have this be your own name or anything else, just so that people know who it is. Just a little legal thing here, and then you can go ahead and you can create your new blog. So the first thing I'm doing here is looking through, just finding a template. This hopefully will be ethereal because it won't last long. So then I put in the title, something related to being a teacher, maybe the name of your class with your school. And then when you put in the name of your site, then choose the blogspot.com, and that's what just has it available on Blogger. And you can go ahead and skip this part. You don't need to create a domain name for this. We really want this to be short-lived. And then what you want to do is you create a new post up there or down below. It'll load up a page. Pretty simple from here. You can start typing the text. Hopefully you've got this set up before. Maybe you can do it in Word or some other word processor so you have it available, and then you can also go and collect the links as you need to. So right now I'm going to add a video. And if you have videos on your desktop, you can drag it up. I'm just going to paste in a YouTube thing, something. Do the search. Yep. Do something related to hockey just for the heck of it. And then it just plops it right in. It's pretty great. And you can add more text in. And let's say you want to put in a link now. If you've done anything like this before in any other sort of program, even within a Word document, it's pretty simple. You would just collect the link, go ahead and click that link button, paste it in. You probably do want to open it up into a new window so you can stick with the window that you have. The only time you wouldn't want to do that is if you're staying within the same site. If you do want to set this, just get a whole bunch of lessons put together at the same time, then you could schedule them. In this options section, the compose and line breaks, go ahead and ignore those. But the thing that you do want to pay attention to is the reader comments. My suggestion would be that you do allow those because that's how you can have interactions with your students. So go ahead, push on publish. When you mouse over that, you can see that there's something called view. When you click on view, you'll be able to actually see what your web page looks like. And that's it, live. Nice work.
For something like Blogger, then you can make sure that you have your comments on, and the comment section for each class could be a way for your students to engage with one another. The thing that you need to be mindful of is that you know who all of the people are that are participating, so just make sure that these are your students and not people who are coming in from elsewhere and trolling or trying to spam. And there are settings within Blogger that can help you do that. You should always be available over email or through whatever learning management system or blog that you're using. And that is because oftentimes the student can't come to your office hours, of course, because you're not able to be in the office. But at the same time, they just need to be able to know how they can reach you and have some sense of reliability that you're going to get back to them. So you're ready to make this delivery of your class to your students. Thanks.